Yes, it's almost a year to the day since Anthony Joshua's comeback trail began. From reaching his lowest point and heaviest amount of critique after a second defeat to Usyk, he set about a slow-burning return to put himself back in pole position. And 12 months later, here he is. But how did all this happen? Why have the narratives completely changed? And what lies in store after his revengeful resurgence? Let's have a look, shall we? Strapping. Well then, let's go back, shall we? Let's rewind to the 20th of August 2022. Yes, a dark day in the Anthony Joshua timeline in which, after giving his everything in training, giving his everything in the ring, he still fell short of reclaiming his world titles to the genius Ukrainian. He was absolutely heartbroken, absolutely gutted, so he thought he'd tell everyone how gutted he was by reading out a few pages of his fucking autobiography. He said, yeah, I'm 17 stone, I'm heavy, it's not nice, hip hip hooray, but what he really wanted to say was, how's this little bloke with handlebars fucking beat me again? Anyway, not only was his boxing career in question, but he'd lost some credibility for the outburst. And whilst the focus shifted to Tyson Fury with a cherry-picked fight against Chisora, Fury-Usyk negotiations began soon after. It seemed like the Anthony Joshua train had somewhat run its course. The narrative was that he clearly couldn't beat Usyk, meaning he stood no chance against Fury, and many felt that Wilder was just bound to land one on this less aggressive, tentative version of AJ as well. Among boxing fans, he now found himself at the back of the pack, a far cry from his hold on heavyweight boxing only a few years prior. But the fat lady hadn't sung just yet.
When you see people who write him off, when you see people who don't rate him anymore, when you see people that think that there's no way back for him, that's what's going to inspire Anthony to rise again. He's going to box 3 times this year because that is the aim, for him to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion.
Yes, so merely a few weeks into 2023, AJ announced a return to the ring in April against Benjamin Franklin. And we all went, oh right, yeah, buzzing, the bloke who lost to Dillian Whyte, great. It was a bit of an underwhelming rebound, and interestingly, for the first time in over 7 years, an AJ fight that wasn't on pay-per-view, leading many to believe he'd lost his star power, though it was simply a stepping stone in the so-called rebuild. Now he'd set up camp in the US with new trainer Derek James, which also got the fans talking, aye, another trainer, a third one in 3 fights, he just can't fucking settle down, can he? Yes, I was one of them myself, but we were still hoping that Derek would bring back some of the old AJ we used to see, to put a lid on this tentative fighter that emerged after the first Ruiz fight. Maybe Derek will bring out that dog in him again. And then fight night rolled around, and it turned out that Derek fucking didn't. Yes, if anything, he was more tentative than ever, against an opponent we assume he would have walked through back in the day. It was a comfortable 12-round win, but left a sour taste in everyone's mouth like the final scene in Fake Taxi. I even made a pony little video myself at the time saying how the AJ brutality seems to have now gone, and ultimately this version against Fury or Wilder would probably not fare too well. And yeah, I do stand by that, to be honest, but old Thomas Hauser went the whole hog and said in the Guardian he should fucking retire. Bit harsh, innit? That's gone down like a sack of shit in the end. Anyway, but now looking back, it actually weren't the worst performance. Hold up, hear me out, and Ting. Now he obviously was a bit cagey, but then again it wasn't easy letting go of his hands because Franklin's quite a sharp counter puncher. The jab and the footwork was on point though, and with the monumental pressure to get past this fight, otherwise his career really was over, I suppose he just done what he needed to do. So then stage 1 was complete, and then it was on to a fight that really did tickle our nipples, baby. A rematch of epic proportions, a rivalry reunited with the body snatcher. Yes, AJ versus Dillian Whyte. Alright then, Robert Hellenius. Yes, what should have been a saucy little rematch with Dillian went straight down the toilet when Dilly Willy allegedly popped for a little peddy-weddy. Luckily the Vikings saved the day, however with yet another low-level opponent in front of him there was even more pressure on AJ to produce a knockout, because the star power and the draw power hung in the balance. But after 3 rounds it looked like it was going to be a similar story, and the crowd even began to boo.
So just keeping Joshua a little bit hesitant. I like how Anthony Joshua is thinking. He's thinking about the attack he's trying to set up. He's trying to set traps. Like I say, these...
So yeah, it wasn't going too well again. Winning comfortably, of course, but we all have such high expectations of the man. Nothing short of a knockout against these type of opponents almost feels like an underachievement. But this was shaping up to be a somewhat different performance. Whereas AJ fought a clever fight to get through Franklin, jab heavy and very cautious, this time it was clear to see he was looking for fireworks. Okay, he didn't quite unload enough, granted, but he was threatening and he was waiting for his opportunity, stalking Helenius, trying to set up the jab to the body, followed by the big right, and after many attempts, it finally came.
Sneaky counter-puncher, Helenius. He's fighting a really smart fight. Robert Helenius is not a mug.
Just as he said, he was struggling to find the range.
So then it may have taken some time, but the result was very much what was called for. A celebration echoing a big FU to the doubters, and he even had a little drink with Conor McGregor after. He said, "You want a bit of bugle, AJ? No, I only want a little sip, bruv." And yes, that was that. On to the next one. But of course, critique-wise, there was still a small sense of underwhelm. Deontay Wilder had dispatched of Helenius in one round, and AJ had taken a while to do it. Plus, Helenius was never really given a chance. That was always meant to happen. So the telling factor would be how AJ dealt with a big dog. There was only one man the world wanted to see in the opposite end of the ring, and this time he even wanted it himself.
Anthony, you're hearing it from my mouth. Hey, I'm here, I'm ready to go. Let's make this the best time of our lives. This would be a major disaster if we would never be able to get in the ring, put our stamp down in history, bro. I believe you're ready. I hope you're ready. I think you're ready. Let's make this happen, bro.
Yes, so things got a bit strange around this point in the Joshua story. Wilder tried the old softy approach to get the fight. He said, "Oh, come on, AJ, me old mate, let's get it on, shall we? I know I've turned down the fight about 300 fucking times, and I've even got offered 100 million to fight you, but obviously I shit myself. Anyway, let's pretend like none of that happened and let's do it, eh, bruv? Best wishes, love, bum squad." Yes, and then of course AJ replied by saying, well, fuck all, because he was in a dark room at the time. Yes, I don't know if this was planned within the rebuild, but after 4 days of darkness, he come out of it a new man. A new man with a new trainer as well. Enter Ben Davison. He said toodle pip to Derek and put him on the back burner. "Hello, Benny boy, let's see what we can do together, bruv, and turn that fucking light off. My eyes ain't adjusted yet." Well, again, it was a strange move in the eyes of the fans, including myself, but especially Johnny Nelson.
AJ with Ben, AJ needs to make sure he's with somebody that's going to bring something to him that's going to enhance him. And Ben might be a good coach in 5-10 years time, but right now I wouldn't give him the keys to the kingdom, because the only person that's going to benefit is Ben.
Yes, there we are, big words from the big Nelson. But as the double excellent turkey came through with the brilliant day of reckoning card, Wilder unfortunately not the chosen opponent, but still the very credible Otto Wallin filling the void. We saw the stellar effects of this blossoming partnership.
Wallin keeps pawing at his nose, and that left hook moved Wallin. Not letting his hands go.
Wanted to land. The left hook just came out of reaction. See?
Oh, it's over. They've stopped the fight, and it is over indeed.
So yes, he produced his best performance in a number of years, beating up and dispatching of Wallin the way that Tyson Fury couldn't. And of course, this was the ultimate key component in the victory, because prior to this and prior to the Fury and Ngannou fight, the public perception was still heavily favoured to Fury over AJ should the pair ever come together. But just as boxing does time and time again, it all changes in a heartbeat. And when Fury underperforms against a debut boxer and AJ excels against one of Fury's former foes, the gap narrows just that little bit more. And we can even go back further to when many favoured Joe Joyce over AJ when he beat Parker, and the tentative AJ had just lost to Usyk again. But yes, Big Sillet Bang put an end to that storyline as well. And then when Joseph Parker ended the hopes of a Wilder fight, it was obviously sad to see for fans, but many would also agree that the Wilder of that night would probably have been annihilated by Joshua anyway. So it's mad how it all changes. So then now with Joshua flying high and Fury Usyk all tied up, in Edwards' eyes there was only one thing to do: finish off some more of Fury's leftovers. And of course, there were only two names to choose from: Francis Ngannou or John McDermott. Well, John hasn't fought since 2013, to be fair, and apparently he works on the railway lines now, so he probably couldn't get the time off anyway. He might have done, actually, because they're always on fucking strike, ain't they? Anyway, Francis Ngannou was the perfect choice to settle and complete the rebuild, to expose Fury just that little bit more, and earn a fuck ton of money whilst doing it as well. Plenty Benjamins and ting, yes. And throughout the build-up, we saw the old chilled-out flowing AJ with a clear underlying confidence. Personally, I was a fan of the angry AJ as well, from the day of reckoning, the one who looked like he was about to go fucking mental any minute and flatten Dev Sani. Big up Dev Sani. But anyway, this man was now seemingly in a very good place. And so 11 months on from the cautious Franklin fight, when every boxing fan was crying out for that ferociousness we used to see prior to Ruiz 1, we ended up getting it more than ever, as AJ showed what you're supposed to do when MMA fighters get in the ring.
Heavy. Right, that right hand. He's coming again! It's John who walked right into it, and you can't do that! He's up! He has the look of defeat on his face. Let's see if Anthony Joshua can dispose of the MMA champion! It is lights out! Wow! Anthony Joshua!
So then here we are, and you've got to say it's been an absolutely perfect rebuild by AJ and the team, each fight becoming more emphatic than the last, and after a lot of uncertainty in trainers for the past few years, he seems to have finally found a perfect fit in that department also. Yes, okay, there is an argument to say that Franklin, Helenius and Ngannou are way below his level anyway, but to be fair, he intended to fight Dillian, he intended to fight Wilder, and in the end it weren't his fault that them fights didn't happen. But now in terms of narratives, after the sensational Ngannou knockout, there's once again been another shift. Many people seeing a very difficult night for Fury now with AJ's ferocity, and some even predicting he stands a much better chance of beating Usyk this time around. Who knows? However, amongst all this, yes, he's done a grand job in rejuvenating himself, but the one thing that seems to have played the biggest factor is the massive change in activity. He's had 4 fights in less than a year, and now he's clearly performing to his best, compared to only 5 fights in 4 years prior to this. And it's the same for Joseph Parker, who's made a triumphant return to the ring with 5 fights in just over a year. It all seems to come back to activity. It baffles me why the top dogs only get out once or twice a year. It fucking winds me up. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the future of AJ, and I'll see you triple soon. Bosh.